Do we have a quorum for today's meeting?
Yes, sir.
Can we do a quick roll call, please?
Okay, sir. Please acknowledge if you are present. To start off, we have Attorney Roberto Martin Benaventura,
Present, ma'am.
Colonel Valentino Janela,
Colonel
Engineer,
Janela is in another meeting with DG right now. Hindi ko alam kung naka-online din siya sa atin.
Engineer Felipe Labado,
Present online.
thank you, sir. Miss Ameris Gabriel,
Present online.
Miss Diana Ines Vinias,
Present online.
from the end user, ANS, Miss Lorelei Corpus,
Connecting.
Technical Working Group, Attorney Frank Edward Marty,
Present.
Attorney Delisa Erugin, Engineer Raul Cusena, Engineer Michael Ian Ilagan, online ba sila? Walang ID, nice. Engineer Joffrey and Joseph Torrefranca, Engineer Gary Chidi, Engineer Noric Baez, Engineer Adelio Arganda,
Present, ma'am, online.
Present.
Technical Consultant, Attorney Irish Person,
Present online.
Secretariat, Dr. Rolly Bayaban, Maria de la Marca, Ms. Melina Reyes, Ms. Joanna Jane Shawson,
Present online.
Thomas Duke Santos, wala siya. Mr. Nathaniel Tordesillas, Mrs.
Present
Amelia Burr,
online.
Ms. Eloisa Casimiro, and Ms.
Present
Sandra,
online.
Ms. Madonna, Ms. Ritalinda, Ms. Romero. Observers from the Internal Audit Service, Ms. Maria
Present
Jimena
online.
Francisco, and from
Present
the board,
online.
thank you. And from the
Present
DOTR,
online.
Engineer Abelardo Sorry. That's all, sir.
Alright, thank you. With that, let's already proceed with the agenda items for today. So for today, we have opening of bids for the purchase installation of the AWOS for the new Bicol International Airport, amounting to 35,463,000 pesos, which is a rebid and ANS DOTR downloaded project. Do we have submitted bids for this?
Yes, sir. The scheduled opening of bids was May 14, last Friday. However, there was no quorum, and only domestic trading submitted its bid proposal. We accepted it, we sealed, and we prepared a notice of postponement, which was uploaded to the PhilJets.
Are they represented for today's opening of bids?
Yes, sir.
Sige.
Thank you, sir.
Admitted already?
Nasa labas po.
Sa labas. Sige, let's call them in.
Good afternoon, leaders. To our back chair, may we request you to state your name and the company you represent?
Ceres Tamayo from Domestic Trading.
Miranda from Domestic.
Gabriel Bugna from Domestic Trade.
Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon po. So, let's already proceed with the opening.
The representative from Domestic Trading, the bid proposal was sealed and signed last Friday. Please check if this is your bid. Please confirm. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, permission to open.
Go ahead, please.
Mr. Chair, Domestic Trading Corporation's bid contained three envelopes, copy 1 and 2, and an unmarked or unlabeled envelope. All envelopes are enclosed in a one big envelope, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I think Attorney Frank is looking for the particular provision in our bid docs requiring that.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Um, Sir, in BDS ITB number 15, section 15, it specifically provides that each bidder shall submit one original and two copies of the first and second components of the bid. Also, the bid fall, wait, hindi ko makita. The bid, all envelopes and documents shall be signed and every page thereof shall be initialed by the duly authorized representatives of the bidder. Submitted eligibility, technical and financial documents shall be properly marked with index tabs, ear tab, and must sequentially paginated in accurate order in the form of example page 3 of 100, page number of the last page of the document per envelope basis. Pagination should be sequentially based on the entire span of the whole document inside the document. Also, in this particular provision, Mr. Chair, it is in this particular item of the section of BDS, it provides that all envelopes must be labeled as follows: name of the contract to be bid in capital letters, name and address of the bidder in capital letters, and name and address of the procuring entities back identified in the IB paragraph 11. Bear the specific identification of this bidding process indicated in the invitation to bid, and letter E, bear a warning: do not open before the date and time for the opening of bid in accordance with ITB clause 16.22. So there is a specific illustration, Mr. Chair, on how to label each and every envelope of the bid proposal of the bidder. So with that, Mr. Chair, the TWG is recommending that the bid proposal of domestic trading be disqualified for failure to comply the provisions under ITB Section 15 of the bid data sheet.
Thank you, Attorney Frank. Earlier, the medyo mahina yung pagkasabi. Can we show again the envelopes for better appreciation, especially for those online?
Sorry. We will start to show, Mr. Chair, copy number 1. It is properly labeled in accordance with ITB 15.
Okay.
So, copy 2, also labeled in accordance with ITB 15 of the BDS.
And then,
But the original proposal, Mr. Chair, the original envelope does not contain any markings or label.
in the back, please. This is the original. This is supposed to be the original.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We presume that this is the original, considering that they're supposed to submit original and copy 1, copy 2. But since there is no indication, it is only a presumption that this is this is the original envelope, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Do we have any comments from the bidder about this? Sorry po, can you turn on your mic so that we can hear you in the recording, please? Hindi ko masyadong narinig yung...
Sir, kung pwede pong buksan yung isang envelope na walang label. Kasi sir, yung bid po namin, hindi nagkasya sa isang envelope. Pinasok pa namin sa isang envelope. May nakalagay po doon na original copy. Kung pwede pong buksan po yun, makikita nyo na original copy. Kasi parang yung walang label, isa main envelope para magkasya.
But Mr. Chair, if I may, we cannot proceed with the opening of this envelope, Mr. Chair, unless...
Yan ba yung sinasabi niya, ma'am? Yung nakalagay sa screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Kasi yan yung parang pinaka-mother envelope na doon sa pangalawa na hindi po nagkasya. Yan may another envelope na wala talaga siyang label. Parang mother envelope sa nakalagay na bid number. Pero kung bubuksan niyo sir yung walang label, may nakalagay po dyan na original.
The
Sir,
mother
magkadikit
envelope,
po yan,
Mr.
sir.
Chair, is this is the main envelope. It is
Wait,
also
wait.
labeled.
So,
Yes,
it
sir.
was teka lang po nagsasalita po ako. It was submitted in one mother envelope. All three copies, tama?
Yes, sir. Kaya lang sir, yung isa na po yun, isa mother envelope dun siya kasi nakadikit lang. Hindi kasya po yung tatlong copy 1, copy 2, and original. Kung bubuksan niyo po yung, yan po walang label, makikita niyo po dyan yung original. Kasi ano siya yung mga, yung walang label sa mother envelope din po yan, sir. Pinagdikit lang po namin, sir, yung envelope para magkasya.
Ano, Attorney Frank?
The bidder, Mr. Chair, is arguing that the label original document is inside this unlabeled document.
Yes, sir,
But, Mr. Chair, it is clear under the provisions in item 15 that each envelope, all envelopes, must be labeled.
Ano yung hawak mo, Attorney Frank?
This is the mother envelope.
Can you flash it?
Yan, sir,
So it is marked, it is labeled.
Yeah.
And
This-
then sa
this
mother
one-
envelope, the bidder is saying there's another mother envelope,
Yes,
and
sir,
inside
but
the mother envelope is the one with the proper labeling. Medyo confusing na po yun. The BDS is quite clear with the requirement, and I'm actually just contemplating because considering you're the only bidder, I'm looking into the significance of this rule. And as this is this particular provision, Attorney Frank, came from the GPPB recommended, right?
Yes, sir. It is in the BDS of
The standard BDS requirements. Hindi yan sa atin ang galing, no? Galing yan sa GPPB.
yes, sir.
And the reason for this particular requirement is to preserve the integrity of the submissions, correct?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. Sige. At what's your recommendation, Attorney Frank?
The TWG recommends, Mr. Chair, to disqualify domestic trading pursuant to Section 15 of the ITB of the bid data sheet, Mr. Chair.
Can we hear comments from our members who are online? You heard also the justification of the bidder, which is well taken, that they submitted another mother envelope kasi hindi nagkasya. So yun yung naging reasoning po, no?
Sir, kasi po yung dalawang envelope, sir, pinadikit namin, sir, yun eh. Kaya natanggal siguro yung yung dikit ng isang envelope dun sa isang pinaka-mother envelope niya.
Bubuksan po
So
yung
dalawang
isa.
mother envelope na pinagdikit yung
Yes,
mother
sir.
envelope
Kaya
ninyo.
sir, yung isang envelope na walang label, isa.
Sino pong nagpaulit sa inyo? Well, nonetheless, this was not opened last Friday, right? Because I wasn't here. That's why it was cancelled and it was postponed. So, hindi dapat to ginalaw last Friday,
Yes, sir.
right? Yeah, and the BDS is quite clear regarding all envelopes being marked, all of them. Even if hiwalay ninyo yung mother envelope, dapat lahat is labeled. So, sige, let's hear from the members, please. Do you have any comments? If none, you heard the recommendation of the TWG. You can make your motions, please.
Mr. Chair, if I may, before
Yes,
the motion.
Attorney Frank.
I just want to put on record, Mr. Chair, that based on the envelope, front and back, Mr. Chair, there is no indication that a certain document or a certain label is removed. So,
No, I don't think they're saying that the label was removed. They're saying, I think, na magkadikit siya dapat and then binuksan.
para pong
Hindi ko po masyadong maintindihan yung justification on
Through the
that.
chair.
imagine niyo po yung dalawang envelope, pinagdikit siya, tapos dito po siya sa gitna pinagdikit. Para po magkasya po namin yung tatlong copy 1, copy 2, and original. And then nung inayos po, probably napisat po yung isang kadugtong, kaya napag-aswan po yung talagang original envelope. Imagine niyo po ba?
Through the chair.
Bali may isa pa pong ganun na itsura dapat siya.
Through the chair.
Pag pinagpatong niyo po yung dalawa, yung copy 1 and copy 2, yun po yung itsura dapat kasi nung envelope. Para po magkasya.
Dali na. Through the chair.
Yes, I do hope you understand because we're precluded to open any of the bids before kung walang clearance.
Through the chair.
Before mag-executive session daw tayo. Before meron bang kayong gusto itanong sa bidders before we do an executive session on this? Yes, ma'am. Hindi po kasi namin talaga pwede buksan. Opo, kasi kami naman po ang madadali ng rules. Is there a request for executive meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chair, TWG also would like to
Sige.
request for an executive
Sige.
briefing.
Alright, we'll have an executive meeting po muna. Thank you. Can you close the door, please? Sila rin yung nag-bid dati, di ba? Bakit ganun? Ayoko na mag-fail to.
Pero sir, merong provision under 29.5, although this is a general answer na
25.9.
unsealed or unmarked envelope shall be rejected. Yun yung parang pinaka-general rule. Pero may exception, bid envelopes that are not properly sealed or marked as required in the bidding document shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. The BAC shall assume no responsibility for the misplacement of the contents of the improperly sealed or marked bids for its premature opening. Pero still, sir, ang ano ko dito, sir, since ito yung general rule pa rin yung nasa 9184, mas magpe-prevail pa rin yung specific na instructions po natin na as contained in the guidelines and in the Philippine bidding documents na po.
Yeah, actually, that's why I mentioned earlier. I was trying to think about the reasoning on why that was required in the first place, and hindi ko kasi maintindihan anong magiging effect nito kung di nila sinunod considering sila lang ang bidder. I mean, I understand kung maraming bidders, hindi talaga for equal footing. But as based on this provision, it appears na it's really for the protection of the bidder na matamper yung bids nila. Now we're saying if this 25.9 will be applied, then they are given the option. We just need to read this out to them. Na kapag binuksan yan and tampered yung laman yan, wala na tayong kinalaman doon. Basically, that's what it means.
Yeah.
So I guess we can proceed with this provision, provided we do a readout and we on record ask them and tell them the consequences of opening the bids, considering its present condition. Pero before that, clarify ko lang, may nagutos sa kanila to repack it, tama ba? Ano ba yung di ko naintindihan yung sinasabi nila kanina?
Yun yung sinasabi nila, sir, na
Pinabago daw sa kanila yung
as they claim na ayos yung submission nila. Yan yung envelope submission. Kasi hindi daw kasya sa isang envelope yung dalawang pinagdikit.
Okay, my primary concern on this is that, correct me if I'm wrong, this has already failed twice before, and then it was 3 times na? So 3 times, and then it was revised and it's rebid, and now and if hindi natin to itutuloy, ako lang, galing akong Bicol, Secretary wants it operational by June. Hindi ko alam paano natin gagawin yun. And of course, I'm not one to bend the rules, but if 25.9 allows for it, then let's give them the opportunity to decide. If there's any comments or objections from the members online, please.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am. Sino po yun?
Yeah, si Miss Vani po.
Yes, ma'am.
Oo. The way I understand it, yung pagkaka-seal nila.
Sorry, ma'am, hindi ko marinig. Pwede palakasan
Palakas po.
yung audio natin dito. Hello, Mar?
Hello, sir.
Ma'am, can you say something?
Yeah.
Ayun, better. Go ahead, please.
Sandali lang sa akin. Excuse lang, nasa back lang. Babalik ako kayo. Please. Sir, pasensya na
Yes,
nasa
ma'am. Go ahead. We hear you.
The way I understand it, yung pagkaka-explain nila, hindi lang siya nagkasya sa isang envelope. Parang the way I look at it, dapat yung isang buong envelope, ang laman niya, the original, and copy 1, copy 2. Since hindi nagkasya, pinaghiwalay nila ng envelope, pero bind nila together para palabasing isa siya as the main document, as the mother envelope. Kaya siya naghiwalay kasi nga hindi siya kasya sa isang envelope. Parang ang pinaka-mother envelope niya ay yung dalawa na pinagdikit.
Yes, ma'am. I think that's what they were trying to explain earlier.
Yes, sir.
Pero dun sa base sa pagkadikit ba, ganun ba talaga, Attorney Frank? So, dalawa talagang mother envelope na pinagdikit, lumalabas.
Yes, sir.
So, when it was opened, it should have been opened together. Yung mother envelope para makuha yung tatlong folder sa loob, tatlong envelope sa loob.
Sir, kasi itong mother envelope po, yung content po nito, itong
Dalawa.
copy 1 and copy 2. Tapos, idinikit lang nila.
Yes. That's what Ms. Mambani is trying to say, and I think that's what the bidders were trying to say as well, na isang envelope lang dapat ang treatment niyan dahil pinagdikit nila.
Pero considering, sir, na nakalagay dito sa item 15 na should be properly labeled, wala din silang labeled na original document dito, sir.
Nandun nga sa second envelope yung original.
Nandun daw sa loob niyang yan,
Sa loob nito.
as what they're saying.
Yes.
Kasi
Now,
parang part siya of a one envelope. It so happen na maliit yung envelope, wala tayong size ng envelope na kasya yung tatlong documents. Kaya pinagdikit na namin. That's the way I understand.
pero nung nakuha natin yung maghihiwalay na yan? O
Hindi,
kayo
sir.
naghiwalay niyan?
Hiniwalay lang dito, sir. Pero kung susundan natin po yung analysis, sir, na this should be treated as one document, then hindi rin siya nag-follow doon sa 10 envelope system po natin.
Sumobra naman tayo sa envelope requirement.
Yes.
Okay. So, we're violating another rule. Okay. Well, Ma'am Bani, and everyone online, we were talking about this earlier, 25.9, na nakalagay, even if hindi properly sealed and marked, as long as may consent ng bidder, nabuksan yan, na walang liability si tayo, is pwede pa din natin ituloy. I think this is one way we can also still accommodate and proceed with this. But we need to do a reading of this provision sa bidder para makuha yung consent nila so that we can proceed. I think that's one way we can compromise midway dito sa ano natin na we're still rendering the documents as improperly marked but we're allowing it to be opened based on 25.9. Kung okay lang po sa mga members.
Through the chair. Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I do agree since meron namang provision. Although earlier on, sinasabi nga ni Atty. Marty na ang general rule ay yung nasa ombudsman. But then, I don't think this provision will be included in this document. No nonsense.
Ano daw? Sorry po.
I don't think, kasi parang yung recommendation ng TWG is to proceed with the disqualification. Kasi yung pinaka-general rule na dapat yung properly labeled. Parang ayaw i-consider tong second provision na pwede siyang buksan sa harap ng mga bidders as long as they take accountability kung ano man yung magiging level ng activity. So sa akin, I don't think this provision will be included in this document kung wala lang siya, kung hindi natin gagawin.
Yes. Attorney Frank, yun pa rin ba recommendation na disqualification?
With the provision under 25.9, Mr. Chair, we submit to the sound discretion of the BAC whether to open it or not, considering that also the provisions under 25.9 allows the acceptance or the opening of bid despite it's not being properly marked or labeled or Mr. Chair.
Yes. By all means, this particular provision comes from the GPPBIR. Tama ba?
This is actually the provisions under 9184, sir.
9184, and we're comparing it vis-a-vis the bid data sheet, the BDS that we provided. And as I see it, hindi naman sila nag-contradict with each other. The BDS is only illustrating what should be the format, and anything outside that format should be considered unmarked or unsealed. And in this particular provision, they're saying unsealed and unmarked envelopes can still be considered provided the conditions are met. So
Also,
I don't really see any contradiction. And
Yeah.
again, as Attorney Marty saying, this is within the discretion of the BAC. So that's why I was asking the BAC if the BAC members are amenable with it, we can proceed. Of course, if not, then we can go back to the earlier recommendation.
Also, Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes.
Yeah. The provisions under section item 15 of the BDS, Mr. Chair, it does not contain a statement or a phrase automatically disqualifying the bidder, whereas in other provisions such as, say for example, section 21.1, at the end of the requirements, it is provided that bidders who fail to comply shall be disqualified. So I guess this would help in coming up with the decision, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I think that's why may ganong provision sa may 25.9 because of that instance. Sige. Can be ilan ba ang online? Let's just do a voting para we can proceed. Okay lang po ba sa inyo? So the voting will be regarding applying 25.9 for this particular case. So let's ask them for votes, please.
Okay, sir. Colonel Junela, sir, nandiyan na po kayo? Wala po. Engineer Felipe Labado?
I
Sir,
agree
anong
to
vote po
open the.
ninyo? Sir?
I vote to open the bid of domestic trading.
Thank you po. Miss Amneris Gabriel?
Also voting to open.
Thank you. Miss Diana Ines Briñas?
To open the envelopes.
Thank you, ma'am. From the end user ANS, Miss Lorelei Corpus?
Yes, ma'am. I agree to.
Kala ko INS pa ko kontra. Well, again, since everyone is voting that way, again, let me just emphasize that we're just giving them the option. Should they say that this is not okay with them, then we proceed to disqualify them. Is that okay? All right. So we're just giving them this option, and should they disagree with the waiver that this involves regarding the liability of the BAC in and responsibility for any misplacement of the contents, then we will be bound to ano lang to just proceed with the earlier recommendation. Sige. With that, let's call them back siguro. Grabe naman, sino may-ari nito? Ba't lahat naka-highlight? Sobra naman kayo mag-highlight. Attorney Frank, what was the BDS provision again? Anong number?
15, sir.
15.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Ito, sir.
Sinasabi si Sir John Sore. Yes, ma'am. Asan na po yung mga kasama ninyo? May baon na. Sige, are you ready? Okay na?
Yes, sir.
Alright, we're just acknowledging the resumption of the proceedings. We have called back the bidders to the conference room. Ma'am, upon deliberation po, the BAC has agreed that we will consider your bid as improperly marked and unsealed for not having complied with section 15 of the BDS clause. However, the GPPB rules 25.9 particularly states here. Attorney Frank, can we just read it for the bidders?
Yes, sir. Section 25.9 of the Republic Act 9184, unsealed or unmarked bid envelopes shall be rejected. However, bid envelopes that are not properly sealed and marked as required in the bidding documents shall be accepted, provided that the bidder or its duly authorized representative shall acknowledge such condition of the bid as submitted. The BAC shall assume no responsibility for the misplacement of the contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid or for its premature opening.
Okay, let me just correct myself. We are considering your bids as improperly sealed and marked, as provided here. And 25.9 allows for the improperly marked and sealed envelopes to still be open, provided that the bidder shall acknowledge the condition of the bid submitted, and the BAC shall assume no responsibility for the misplacement of the contents of the improperly sealed or marked bid. Is this amenable for you po? If you are okay with this, then we will proceed to open your bids, and then we'll just put on record your response. Can you state your position on mic?
Okay, we're amenable.
All right. With that, Attorney Frank, maybe we can proceed with the opening.
Yes. Before we proceed, Mr. Chair, can may we request the bidder to identify this envelope, unmarked envelope, to be the original documents?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chair, permission to open the original bid envelope.
Sige, please.
Mr. Chair, inside the unmarked bid envelope, unmarked sealed bid envelope is an envelope labeled original bid of the Domestic Trading Corporation.
So we'll open this also.
Mr. Chair, inside the original bid envelope are two envelopes containing the original technical component and the financial component, Mr. Chair. Both envelopes are labeled and marked and also sealed, signed and sealed. Opening the technical component envelope, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, the technical component envelope is paginated and signed. The document is also in tabbed, Mr. Chair. checklist, please.
Checklist, PhilJEP Certificate of Registration and Membership.
PhilJob's certificate of registration with a platinum membership, valid until July 1, 2021, submitted.
Annex A of the Certificate to PhilJEP's registration.
Mr. Chair, Annex A of the PhilJob's registration is not
Wala.
included in the submitted document, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, may we request a representative from the bidder to check the document, sir?
Go ahead, please. Ano pong nangyayari?
At this point, Mr. Chair, the bidder cannot locate Annex A of the Certificate of PhilJob's registration.
Mr. Chair, based on the certificate of PhilJob's registration, there should be 3 pages. So one is the first page is the field jobs registration. Second page
And then the third
for
page.
the reminders. And there's no third page, Mr. Chair.
Third page is supposed to be
The list.
And also there's no Annex A, Mr. Chair.
ano yung Annex A?
Yun yung list, sir, ng uh, requirements. SEC, mayor's permit, yung
Wala rin.
submission nila. Wala din, sir.
Even upon verification of the
Sir,
bidders.
sir, di ba sir nakalagay sa pag may field job niya sir, di ba sir, kasi nandun na lahat yung tax clearance, yung mayor's
Yeah.
permit. Di ba sir, pag sir, hindi na yung sinabi, pag may field job certificate na.
Yeah. Actually, Mr. Chair, the Annex A is just an alternative to the submission, I mean, to the other requirements. Say, for example, the mayor's permit, they do not prove, I mean, the audited financial statement is not updated, then they can use the Annex A. But the requirement, Mr. Chair, for the valid field jobs registration certificate, it should be all pages. So the certificate is, it says there 3 pages, but they only attach 2 pages.
Sir, based po dun sa field jobs na sa amin, sir, makikita nyo, sir, is talagang 2 pages lang siya. Kasi, sir, parang mark lang po siya nung ganyang bilog-bilog lang, sir. Wala talaga siyang nakasulat.
So what is the recommendation of the TWG?
Sir, we'll just check first, sir, the exact provision, sir, applicable to this particular concern.
That's the same Annex A na nawala. Annex A of the certificate.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Attorney Frank.
Yeah, the submission of domestic trading, Mr. Chair, they only submitted a certificate of field jobs registration, which is incomplete. They submitted only page 1 and page 2 of the document without, so page 1 of 3, page 2 of 3, and considering that this is already the page 3, 4, and 5. So clearly, the missing pages, the missing third page of the field jobs registration is not included in the submitted document. And this is something required in our checklist, Mr. Chair, that a valid field job certificate of a valid field jobs registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages. So it is clearly stated here, Mr. Chair, that all pages should be included, and that includes not only the Annex A, but also part of the third page, which is part of the field jobs registration. So clearly, this is an incomplete submission. So with that, Mr. Chair, the TWG is recommending again to disqualify domestic trading for an incomplete submission.
Can we hear from the members of the BAC? Do you have any comments? If there's none, you can make a motion, please.
Back members.
To the chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, Ma'am Dayan.
I'd like to go with the TWG recommendation to disqualify the bidder.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any second to that motion?
Second the motion.
Thank you, sir. There being a motion duly seconded, the submitted bid of domestic trading is hereby declared disqualified for having submitted an incomplete field jobs registration, which is as required under the BDS, that all pages should be attached. Secretariat, can we explain the process for MR, please?
Since the BAC has declared your bid disqualified, you are allowed to file a motion for consideration in 3 days' time starting today. Will you file a motion for consideration?
Ang third page kasi is just a blank page, kaya siguro hindi nila sinali. Well, it's your decision kung ano, kung siyempre okay lang kami kung i-reconsider nyo. Pero it's still on your side if it's you considered it or not. Kasi para sa yung third page kasi is just blank lang eh. Kaya hindi niya na sinali, sabi niya. That's it.
Yes, ma'am. We understand. We hope you also understand because this is an official document. When it says that the third page is an integral part thereof, then any missing page will render it incomplete. So again, the question was, will you be filing? So you won't be filing na po?
Yes or no? Yes. We will reseal your bid proposal. We'll keep it and we will await your MR. If the BAC finds merit, i-open. If not,
let me explain na lang po, mama. So the process is, the reason why they're asking you, kasi if you say that you will not be filing, then hindi na natin i-reseal, correct? Isasoli na natin yung bid. And with that, considering you're the only bidder for this, we will already declare a failure, correct?
Yes, sir.
And pag nag-declare tayo ng failure, then it will be deliberated whether we will have this rebid, correct? So if that's something maybe that you need to consider, the sooner we can rebid this, then the sooner you can also file. But again, the reason why they're asking is because it's your right to file a motion. So we're asking lang if you will or you won't. You will? Ah, sige. Okay.
You will reseal your
So let's
proposal.
reseal it and let's wait for their motion, please. Okay, with that, let's already close that item in the agenda. We'll just wait for your motion, ma'am.
Wait lang po kayo sa labas, papirmahan nila. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. With that, let's move on to the next item in the agenda. Next item is discussion on the purchase installation of communications equipment for Bicol New Legazpi International Airport, amounting to 22,904,000 pesos. A rebid, ANS DOTR downloaded project. Why is this discussion? Because last Friday was supposed to be the opening, but no one submitted, correct?
Yes, sir.
So now I think this item is particularly on whether or not the BAC will declare this for this item to be failure of bidding.
Yes, sir.
Sige. Attorney Frank, can you just make the proper recommendation and then the BAC will decide?
Yes, sir. Sir, for the purchase, installation of communication equipment for new Bicol Legazpi International Airport, considering that no bidders are interested to participate in this particular procurement activity, thus the TWG recommends to declare a failure for this project, Mr. Chair.
This is pang ilang failure na to, Attorney Frank?
This is the
First, sir.
First, sir.
For
First.
the new
Okay.
amount.
So the recommendation would be for the declaration of failure of bidding and then for rebidding.
reposting.
Reposting.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So there is a recommendation from the TWG on the declaration of failure of bidding for this project and the subsequent reposting of the same project, considering it's the first failure. Do you have any comments from the members? If none, let's have a motion, please.
Back members.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I, recommend to adopt the TW recommendation, declaration of failure bidding for purchase installation of communication equipment of new vehicle international airport and reposting for the next meeting.
Thank you, sir. Is there any second to that motion?
I second the motion.
Thank you, ma'am. There being a motion duly seconded, the project purchase installation of communication equipment for Bicol New Legazpi International Airport is hereby declared a failure and for this project to be reposted for another round of bidding. Thank you. Is there any with that, is there any other matters for today? For today's agenda?
Nana, sir, from the Secretariat.
TWG?
None, sir. Sir, for the information of the BAC members, sir, we are now finalizing the report for the bid evaluation for Bukidnon Phase 2, sir. We will present anytime this week, sir.
Phase 2.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just a reminder as well, we have a board meeting this coming Friday, and there are several items under BAC that will be deliberated. All right. With that, there being no other item on the agenda, can we have a motion to adjourn, please?
Query lang, sir. Next step nitong AWOS, later na lang, sir, pag nag-submit sila.
Yes, I asked Attorney Frank, sabi, after they file a motion and then we decide. Actually, that was the reason why I was explaining the process kasi should they decide not to file a motion, then we can already declare it and we can proceed. Sila rin naman ata magbibid doon eh. Yun nga eh. Medyo tumagal lang. Pero since they manifested that they will file, we cannot really prevent them from doing so. So let's just wait for them to submit. Okay? Is there any motion to adjourn, please? Members?
Sir, motion to adjourn.
Thank you, ma'am. Any second?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending today's meeting. Secretariat, just keep us posted on the next meeting schedule, please.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
Salamat po.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye po.